People are asking the question, how can this system be improved? Earlier, I spoke with Jeremy Haile to weigh in. He represents a nonprofit organization that promotes reform in prison sentencing policies, and here's what he had to say about some of these eye-opening statistics.
Over the last 40 years, we've seen a real explosion in America in incarceration. This also raises issues of race. 1 in every 3 young black men in America can expect to spend a year in prison. Of people sentenced for federal drug offenses last year, 60% were people of color, even though whites, blacks, Latinos all use and sell drugs at roughly the same rates. And these problems weren't caused by changes in crime rates. They were caused by choices we made in policy, sentencing laws that put more people in prison and keep them there for longer periods of time.
And you talk about those policies. We're even hearing from the former U.S. President Bill Clinton, who really, admitted that, I guess the law that he set forth was a mistake. And now we're seeing, as you mentioned, the U.S. President visiting a prison in Oklahoma. What do you think needs to happen moving forward, given the problem that exists today?
Well, the main driver of our prison populations has been harsher drug laws, which were enacted in the 80s and through the 90s, as well as the crime bill that President Clinton signed. But the mandatory minimums in those drug laws take discretion away from judges and can result in 20 or 30-year prison sentences for people who may have just sold a very small amount of drugs. And so reforming those mandatory minimum penalties would be a great place to start.
Statistics show that African Americans and Hispanics make up about 60% of the prison population, and when these men and women get out of prison, the chances, the efforts for them to find work is difficult. What needs to be done there?
That's exactly right. And in fact, when people leave prison, we actually punish them for being punished. We exclude them from jobs and housing. We take away their food assistance. In some states, we even take away their right to vote, sometimes for life. So these policies are not only unfair to people who have served their time, but they're also counterproductive to helping people succeed when they're given a second chance.
Is there a political climate at this point in the United States, from your vantage point, given what you do, is there a political effort or climate to change the laws that exist? We know that the president is actually in line with his conservative rivals on this very topic.
That's exactly right. I mean, 3 years ago, the term mass incarceration was controversial in this country. Now you have Republicans and Democrats using that term as a statement of fact. So there's a growing recognition across the board that we've gone too far with our sentencing laws. Our prison populations are too big. The racial disparities are too shameful. That there's bipartisan momentum growing that we need to act.
Jeremy Haile, the Federal Advocacy Counsel of the Sentencing Project. Jeremy, thank you so much for your insights.
Thank you so much.